Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Richard Lewis Brown. Today is July 4th, 2021. Happy 4th of July to everyone across America. Independence Day. I'm excited to do a video for you live on the 4th of July. Hopefully, you have a quick moment to spend time with me. As you know, today I will be speaking to Robert Bayze. I'll say his name again, Robert Bayze. He's running for VP of Bargaining in our local 1000 election. As you know, Kevin Manager, Robert Bayze, Irene Green, Kim Cowart, and Ramona Kramer. All of these people are running in the election, redoing the local 1000 election for VP of Bargaining. Two people ran before and they should not have been allowed to run. Okay, so really excited about this. A lot of people were excited about Robert Bayze. As you know, yesterday, I did a quick conversation with Kevin Manager. It was a wonderful conversation. But today we do with Robert Bayze, and I'm still waiting for him to send me the invite. Oh, wait a minute, he's right here. Oh no. I'm still waiting for Robert to send me the invite. So we'll wait here for a few minutes. I'm sure he's watching me on my RL Brown Facebook page. I would like to have a conversation with every candidate running for VP of Bargaining. That's never been done before by the president of Local 1000. We will also put their bios and their pictures up on our Local 1000 Facebook, our Local 1000 website. That's never been done before. The candidates running for VP of Bargaining, I want to make sure that their bios and pictures are up on our website. And so I'll be working with the staff to make sure that happens as soon as possible, because we want everyone to know about this election. They can contact the candidates if they have any questions for them. Okay, so I see Robert Bayze. So once he sends me the invite to bring him on, we're going to bring him on. We're going to have a wonderful conversation. I had one yesterday with Kevin Manager. So I'll wait for a moment or two for Robert to send me the invite to come on this Facebook Live. And hopefully everyone's having a great day today. This is my first week. No, Robert, you'll have to please come on my page here, RL Brown. Please join me on my page. So, I had a great week. Okay, Robert's right here. Hold on one second. And we're adding him right now.
Hey, what's up, Richard?
Hello, Robert. How are you today? Happy 4th of July.
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good. I got rest.
We're just live. We're live on YouTube as well right now. The YouTube audience is waiting for you. We're gonna be able to do the simulcasts two at the same time, or
Let's do it. Let's do it. So I'm excited.
yeah. So if you want to go ahead and log on to the Zoom, that way they can see you there too.
No, I'm gonna keep going the way I am right now because I don't want to waste too much time. So here we go. I know you're.
Oh, if you don't have time today, we can do it another day, man.
Oh no, we're gonna do it right now. So today we're excited to have Robert Bayze on, and he's running for VP of Bargaining. And I spoke yesterday to Kevin Manager, and I'm really excited about speaking with Robert.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm really excited about speaking with Robert on today, July 4th. And if anybody understands my numbers, 7437, I feel like this is like made to happen. July is 7, and the number 4 for the 4th of July. And I'm sure Robert knows this. If you go in the policy file, you'll see the president, 1, secretary treasurer, 2, organizing and representation, 3, and number 4, VP of Bargaining. So, Robert, here's my first question I'd like to ask you. Who was the person that you wanted to win in this recent election for president?
Yeah, I wanted to first start off by saying happy 4th of July to everyone watching.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a very important, holiday. I saw you made a post about it earlier. And so, yeah, I think that I wanted to get that out of the way. And anyone who's watching, we appreciate you taking your time. And if you got to watch at a later time, please enjoy your family. That's what this is all about. We're not doing this to take time away from anyone's family. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So what was your question again? Sorry, I wanted to get that out of the way just because it is 4th of July. Yeah.
That's perfect. So, in this recent election, who has your support to become the new Local 1000 president?
That's a good question. I honestly wanted the best person to win, whoever the voters determined would be the best candidate. Um, I think that there obviously was a lot of candidates who are there. I didn't want Yvonne to win again, which
All right.
was pretty clear on that.
All right.
And I think that there was a couple viable candidates out of the slate, and really, I just wanted the one who was going to be the most true to what they were saying. A candidate who's really going to lead us to where we need to go. Several candidates asked me to be a part of their team. And as you know, I ran by myself, and the reason I didn't join a team, was because I think that there's a lot of people play these like kind of political games.
Yeah.
And so I'm not really into that. I'm about the people, for the people. It's all about, who we represent, and doing the best for them, and making sure that we can enrich all of our lives, right? My life, your life, their life, and really having that care about each other. And so I wanted, the best candidate to kind of rise out of that. And I guess I can say that, at the time, the reason I ran by myself is because that candidate didn't really show themselves. I didn't see anyone who I could put my name behind fully at the time that all that happened, and I know that you've had conversations before. I know you made a statement on your Facebook a few times that you wish that you would have known about me sooner, and that you and I had talked earlier, so that we could have formed maybe a 10-point platform or a team together or whatnot. And so timing could have been part of the issue, but part of the issue was character.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Not with you, but with why I ran by myself, and
Okay.
kind of did my own thing, is because, like I said, I believe in the people first.
Okay.
So
So here's my second question. Do you feel in your heart you can work with Annika Walls and David Jimenez?
yeah, I think I can work with anyone that has the best interest of our members in mind, and by members I mean represented, everyone, right? Everyone we represent. And I know there's a lot of tussles back and forth about that, but even your own 10-point platform talks about creating a brand new membership class that includes everyone, right? And so I think members just a word that's easy to use, but that's obviously what we mean, right? Is it so? Yeah, I could work with Yvonne if she wanted to do the right things for the members and allow me to do great things for members, which is what happened. When we had the whole Young DLC, we were running workshops. We were getting our stewards promotions that they had never had before. We were getting new people on with the state who then instantly wanted to become members because they got their job through the union, right? And wanted to become activists. So we were doing good things, and I could do that with her until, right, a point at which came that you now have all these new people in the union, and not everyone's going to be, on your team. And that's something that you're going to face too, right? As a president, is that when you start bringing all these new members on, all these new stewards, all these new activists, not 100% of them are going to be, on your side or agree with you 100%. And so then you have the choice of, okay, well, does it matter? Do you just still foster an environment of all of us being together, or do you start excluding those people because they don't agree with you 100%, right? And so obviously, I think in the past, people have been excluded, which is why our union isn't flourishing as much as it is, because a lot of the great talent that we have, it hasn't been used, right? We have so many smart, talented people who can really enrich our union, who aren't used because they don't agree 100% with, someone.
So wait,
And so that's
right.
something you have to face too. And so that's all to ask your question. Hold on, if you let me finish, to kind of wrap back to what you were asking, who I can work with. I can work with anyone that allows, that
But
environment for us to help our people.
but I'm gonna ask you specifically again. Can you work with Annika Walls and David Jimenez? That's the specific question I asked you.
if as long as their character keeps showing to be, and shows to be for the people, then I don't see why not. Is there a problem? Like, is there something specific you're referring to that I should know about?
What I want you to ask, what I'm trying to get you to do is answer specifically and not answer widely. I'm trying to get you to answer specifically, because when you answer, sometimes your answers kind of go broad. And so you're not being narrowed down to so where someone knows exactly what you're saying, exactly what you're doing. Okay, let's move on to this one.
Yeah, I'm. That's actually not true at all. I would disagree with that.
Right.
I'm giving you context, right? Context for the things that are said. And so I think I was very clear, and I'll clarify for you again that yes, Annika, David, and yourself, who are the three people who are in office right now, easily can see myself working with you all as long as you're working for the people, right? If you start embezzling money and stuff like, Annika, then of course I'm going to say, no, I can no longer work with Annika or David or whatever. But as
So
long as they're for the people, there is absolutely no problem, because we have the same mission. We're on the same team. And that's something that's important that I always tell people is that, and I even said this because I know you bring up Harold Fong a lot. You talked to him, and he was disappointed that I ran for VP of bargaining. And then what I told him is, okay, like, you can be disappointed, but realize that I still love you the same, and we're still on the same team. And I told the same thing to your friend, who'd you have, Kevin Manager, yesterday, right? I'm like, Kevin, me and Kevin are on the same team, the same team.
right.
And so if you're on that same team with this, of course I support you.
Okay, so Robert, what I'm gonna ask you to do is cut your answers down a little bit, because I'm gonna go through this list of questions, and then
Okay.
we can talk free flowing after we go through this list of questions. So what I asked you specifically was not about me; it was about Annika and David. Now I will ask you this next question: do you fully support the president's 10-point platform?
The entire 10-point
Yeah,
platform. So what is we could see, and I wish you were on Zoom so we could bring up the 10-point platform and look at it together,
right.
because and I would be happy to discuss the entire 10-point platform with you right now. I have it up. So the first thing is reducing dues by 50%, right? Is
Mhm.
that still a plan that you're doing? I know you were saying
Absolutely,
maybe. So
absolutely.
when is that happening?
Well, once I could get a good look at those financials, because I was going to do it on day one, but when they changed the CFO in the last minute before I took over, that kind of threw things into a quagmire. And so that kind of threw me off. So I still plan on doing that. But when I'm simply asking you, I'm not asking you to go through the 10.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to go through
Well,
the 10
we should go through the 10-point
No, wait a minute.
platform.
Hold
We
on.
should, because it's
Hold on. Robert,
important.
Robert. We
Go
have some
ahead.
questions we have to finish, and you're not going to go through the every point. I'm trying to get you to answer these questions succinctly in 2 minutes or less. And what I'm simply asking you is, can you support the 10-point platform? Yes or no?
That's a very complex question. And like I said,
Okay,
I
we
want
have,
to, I
yeah.
know you said you want to give me 2 minutes. That's
Okay,
fine.
go ahead.
We can get through the scripted portion of our conversation and have, your, like I said, so your 10-point platform, there's a lot of things on here that are easy to agree with, right?
Okay,
So getting out of political spending, I think a lot of people agree. We spend so much time and energy focusing on things that aren't our people, right? And we got to stop that, right? Finally, getting guaranteed medical retirement for staff. Cool. There's a lot of things, right? Eliminate. Wait, where does it? Create a single membership, class. Obviously, is a controversial one. You have
right.
the 21% pay raise. Who doesn't agree with that? So I think that there's a lot of things on here that I can get behind and help you pass, right? Help you,
Mm.
be successful on. There are some things that I have further questions on, and I've asked you these questions, and you refuse to answer them, right? And
Right.
so then it's hard to know. Then it's hard to know whether or not I can support it when you're not willing to give more
Robert,
information
Robert,
about
hold on, Robert,
it, right? Isn't that
Robert.
fair?
No, it's not. It's not.
It,
Nobody,
it is. It
Robert,
is.
Robert. If you want to answer my questions, and I want to do everything I can to make you look good to win this election, then when you say things like that, people kind of look at you and they don't quite trust what you're saying. No one has ever really called me out on Facebook where I didn't respond back to them. And what I've always told people is, let's do it out in
I've
the
asked you live on video.
Robert. That's not true.
You're
So if you're gonna hold on, Robert.
you didn't
Robert,
reply
Robert,
to the thing
Robert,
you're mad at me about.
Robert,
You're mad at
Robert.
me right now.
No, I'm not, Robert.
Okay, Richard.
Robert. I am trying to,
Richard.
but the more you argue with me while I'm trying to help you, you're not. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. The SBAC. The
Let's talk about this 10-point platform
No,
though, because I think it's important. Because I think what you're going to do is you're going to want to twist things around.
But Robert,
You're going to want to twist things around instead of having a concrete. I have time. I have all day. If you have time, let's talk about your platform.
Robert,
let's please talk about it.
You had your 2 minutes to say what you had to say. We're moving on. All right. So the SBAC.
You're just trying to bully people. It sounds like you said you wanted to have a conversation. And I'm trying to engage you in this conversation on true issues, and you're just trying to ram through this list of
list
of questions.
But Robert, it's the 4th of July. People are not going to be on this phone call for very long. What I'm trying to get you to do is answer in 2 minutes or less. Be succinct, be clear and distinctive. Say what you mean what you say, and then let's move on to the next question. So let's move on. The SBAC.
That's always how it is. And that's what I'm saying. That I mean what I say. When we're talking about your 10-point platform, I've asked you on video multiple times to explain to me.
You have not.
I have. You can find the videos.
But Robert, I'm not here to argue with you, Robert. I'm here to help you, and you're not giving me the opportunity to help you. Kevin Manager yesterday, we had a great conversation. So I'm trying to have a great conversation with you. So I'm going to the next question, Robert. SBAC. Are you happy?
No, you didn't ask this way with Kevin. Actually, you gave Kevin a very frothy interview. You asked Kevin directly a question. You said, Kevin, if you don't win, which of the other 4 candidates should you win? And you didn't make him answer that question, right?
Because I didn't have everybody in the room at the same time. So I'm asking different questions to different candidates so it doesn't look stale. I don't do just the same thing for everybody. So
what I'm saying is that you're trying to paint me in a certain light. It's unfair.
Robert, I am trying to help you. The more you continue to stop me from answering the questions, the more people can see that there's no way you and I could work together. So please, let me help you. I'm begging you. Let me help you. Now, next.
Okay, Richard.
Okay. So the next question. SBAC, are you happy with the delay?
Happy with the delay? Again, that's an interesting question, but I would say overall, I think that in the history, and we've seen some of our union leaders tell us this time and time again, if you've ever been to an SBAC, the vice president of bargaining plays a role in that, right? And so if we have a current VP of bargaining, and there's one there, then that was a question that you didn't answer before, whether we have one currently or not, or whether,
we do have a.
Okay. So then in that case, as long as we have a VP of bargaining going, and everything's in order, I don't see a problem with SBAC being now or later.
Okay. So
because remember when I asked you on video whether or not because I say SBAC has failed us time and time again, right? You're the one who says that we have bad contract after bad contract after bad contract. And so on video, on the Heffen call, I asked you, hey, do you envision us having the same type of bargaining structure we've had in the past that you say has failed us, which is SBAC, or do you imagine us not having an SBAC and coming up with a new approach? And you said nothing. And so,
because I did, Robert.
So do you answer it now? Are we going to have SBAC as we know it?
Robert, the SBAC has been delayed. I asked you a question. You're not asking me questions. That's not how this works. I'm asking you the questions, trying to help you win this campaign. It's not for you to come on here and try to zero down and ask me questions. That's not how this is working.
But I can't answer a question when you haven't given context for it.
Robert, I'm doing a conversation for people to express themselves, but they cannot try to ask me a lot of questions because I'm asking a series of questions. And then at the very end, if you want to expound on something, I will let you expound on it. What I simply asked you is this. Were you happy with the delay of the SBAC? You said it's kind of complex.
I have no feelings on it.
Okay.
I have no opinion.
Then that's all that you had to say, Robert. That's all you had to say.
All you have to do is not try to be a bully, though, Richard. Like, I'm not having it right now. I'm not having what you're trying to pull right now.
All right. So let me go on to the next question here. The salary stipends have been a big issue. Did you want to accept the salary stipend?
The salary stipends have been a big issue.
Right, for the
I
same.
thought you eliminated. You said you're eliminating
That's
all salary stipends. And
That's not the question I asked you. I want you to answer the question,
well,
sir.
what is the question exactly? Whether I'll take a
Do
salary
you?
stipend?
Yes. Would you take the salary stipend?
I think that when it comes to salary stipends, obviously it's a controversial issue
Okay.
in our union, right?
Okay.
I think that it's partly that way because people stole a lot of money, or did it by what people think is stealing a lot of money. But do I think that you should have a salary stipend? Yeah. I think you should, and I've told you that to your face
Wait, hold
because
on, wait, stop,
because
stop,
hold on. Well,
stop,
let me
stop,
finish the
stop.
answer.
Wait,
You
wait,
said you're going
Robert,
to give me 2
Robert,
minutes.
Robert, Robert,
You said
Robert,
you're going to give
being
me 2 minutes.
Robert, you're being
You
disrespectful.
said you're going to give me
Robert,
2 minutes.
Robert, you're being disrespectful when you said it to my face. That doesn't come across like you want to work with me.
It's
So,
true.
okay, Robert. Go ahead, Robert. Go ahead and finish, Robert.
Listen, yeah,
Go ahead.
that's what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
So the answer to the question is as someone who believes in labor and believes that we have that it's important that you're paid for what you work, right? So just the same as when we go to our state jobs, you're not going to work 80, 90 hours a week at your state job and get zero compensation for it. And so in that same vein, I don't think that you, as someone who's working around the clock as the president, right, and the VPs or whoever should be taken advantage of and giving their labor. Basically, we're stealing your labor from you. And so at the end of the day, I think that a salary stipend, the way that it was passed and the way that it is now, has to be thrown out and torn up. But do I think that there is room to more fairly compensate someone who is a president or vice president for their labor? Absolutely. And the reason is that you're an AGPA level right now, right? And you're, from what I understand, you're topped out from our prior conversations. And so you're going to spend the next 3 years of your life as the president, hopefully, right? And you're not going to be able to make any more money because you're not going to get MSA, those merit salary adjustments that you would normally get. And so why shouldn't we give you your 5% MSA every year for the next 3 years? Why should we take advantage of you? And so, yes, when it comes to a stipend, I think that there are.
Robert, wait, hold on a second. I'm trying to help you, Robert. If you just said I was maxed out, then you know I'm not eligible for the merit raise. So you have to retract that statement. Retract that.
No, retract what statement? I mean, that's
You
what
said,
I'm saying. So,
Robert, you said I was maxed out. So if I'm maxed out on my salary, then I can't get a merit raise. So retract that statement.
that's my entire point. Is that a stipend shouldn't look like 40, 50, $60,000 that it is now, but a stipend should look like, hey, you're maxed out, you get no more MSAs. Here's an MSA for dedicating your life to us as members. And so I don't see a problem with us giving you, 5% next year and saying, thanks for dedicating your life to us, Richard, because you're topped out. Do I think you should get $60,000? No, absolutely not. And so I think that when it comes to the stipends, it is a very important issue, and it is something to talk in depth about because there's the way that it was done in the past and the way that we got here now. And then there's the actual principle of not using and abusing people for their labor. And so as someone who's deeply committed to labor, we have to recognize you, Richard, and Annika and everyone else for their labor, and at least make sure that you break out even and that you're not, end up at a loss. Right? You're going to end up at a loss for the next 3 years because you don't have career mobility. You can't move into your next management sector.
Right.
And so yeah, absolutely. I absolutely I think that some form of stipend in some way, shape, or form should exist just to make sure that our people don't lose out when they sacrifice for us.
Okay.
You don't agree with that though, huh?
No, but no, that isn't. I'm going to get through these questions. And then you're going to talk some more. And then we're going to make this kind of tight because it's the 4th of July. So here's the next question. Can you carry out duties assigned by the president?
Can who carry out duties assigned by the president? Oh, you're saying if I win and you assign me duties, would I fulfill them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so finally, this is the last question, and then you can take over and say what you have to say. Have you fully supported the president?
Of the United States, or you, or Yvonne?
The current Local 1000 president?
You, have I supported you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have, yeah, I have no problem. In fact, I would say that if anyone who's running, I'm probably the only person, because you said that they're all planning against you, that they're working behind your back. I'm the only person who hasn't worked behind your back. I'm the only person who had the courage to come on live with you and disagree with you even on live, right? Because at the end of the day, when you can look at me as a threat and say, hey, we can't work together because there are two lions in a cage are going to fight, but I can actually look at you and say, hey, what better partner, right, than to have someone who has the skills. And so you could look at me as a threat, or you could look at me as an ally. I know Yvonne looked at me as a threat because she didn't want to hear the truth. And so if you want to hear the truth, and want someone who's going to bring it every day against the state, you obviously, I think who that is. And then on top of that, when we talk about shop talk, right, we invited you on and had a conversation with you for an hour that went beautifully. And after that, everyone got to see and say, oh man, Richard's not crazy. I thought Richard was crazy talking to himself all these years. And now I see that he can have a conversation with other people and be, coherent and calm and all that. So yeah, absolutely. I think that I've given everyone a chance, right? I've given you a chance, Tony, Yvonne. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I think that anyone who's willing to stick themselves out on behalf of our members, who's willing to fight like hell for us, should get a chance. And so you get a chance no different than anyone else. And as long as honor us as the voters giving you that chance, like there's no reason I wouldn't work with you and work damn well hard for the members. And I think that we could accomplish more than you could with any other VP candidate. And part of the reason that I think that we're here right now, right? We got on this call together, is a bunch of your supporters hit me up yesterday, upset that you were, as they put it, pretending to not know who I was. And the voters are smart, Richard. They see these things. They see that, you know who I am. You say my name.
Robert,
hold on. And then all of a sudden
Robert,
yesterday,
wait a minute, Robert,
you couldn't remember who I was.
Robert,
And
Robert,
so whether that was on purpose or an accident,
hold on,
go ahead.
Robert,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I have 1,000 names in my head, and I forgot your name by accident yesterday. It wasn't intentionally. I have 1,000 names and 1,000 numbers circulating in my head, and I got emails circling in my head.
I'm not upset.
Okay.
I was just letting you know. No, I was just letting you know.
My supporters who support me, believe me, they call me when they want to tell me something. So if you say that they've reached out to you, was that 2 or 3? Was that 55? Was that 2,500? I don't know how many people reached out to you, but everyone has my number. If I can't call people way, I apologize. But go ahead, finish your thought.
No. So I was just saying that they thought it was disingenuous, and that you were, supporting Kevin, and were concerned because you've called, as they said, we've called Kevin a racist in the past.
Stop right there. I didn't call Kevin a racist. I said he's prejudiced. He's a little prejudiced. That's what I said. Those are my exact.
Okay.
Continue.
I didn't say that. But yeah, that's what I was hearing. And so I'm like, I don't know why I haven't been invited, but like, to talk with Richard. But yeah, I would say, as you've said yourself, if there's anyone who's not plotting against you, it's me. I have everything I say to your face, which is why people can look at this and say, oh, this video started off rocky. Why? Because I'm not going to cower down to anyone. And so a lot of people, a lot of leaders come in and want to surround themselves with people that they can take advantage of, that they can talk down to, that they can bully, right? And so I understand that other candidates might be more attractive because you can keep them in their place a lot easier, but if you want someone who really is creative, effective, who can really change the way that this union functions the way that it needs to, right? I mean, I'm here, and I think a lot of people know that. And a lot of people will see that, and whoever wins, wins. I honestly, When it comes to the election, as much as I would love to be elected as the VP of bargaining, and I got quite a bit of support last time, as much as I'd love to win this time, I think that if you're half the leader that you say you are, you're going to recognize people who are talented, whether they win or they lose, and you're going to put together a team of kick-ass people who are from winners and who are losers.
So,
Right. And so it's like if Kevin doesn't win, you
right.
pull Kevin out and say,
So,
Kevin,
but here, but I want
we
you to,
need you,
but I want
you
you
know?
to understand that statement you just made about half the leader. When certain people hear you say those types of terms, those type of statements, then they question whether you really want to quote work with me to improve the lives of all represented employees of Local 1000. So again, today is July 4th, and here's your 7-4, and the fourth person in of the statewide officers is the VP of bargaining, and I think this is a beautiful day. And I wanted to tell you something. I don't look at you as a threat. I don't. What I see, I know you're a lion, and so lions see other lions. So you're absolutely right. But I got on a special shirt today. Do you recognize this shirt I'm wearing? Do you recognize it? What has
It just looks white. It just looks white from here.
okay? So it has the 21 on it, but this is a special shirt to me. And if you go back in the past, all the way back to 2012, at the town hall when they were talking about giving up our money while under a signed contract, which eventually happened in 2012 POP, this was the shirt that I spoke out in, and I was coming. And you remind me of that person, and I have not changed, and I've kept that same passion and that same power. And so sometimes you and I, we are gifted, and when we come at people, we come at them. And so sometimes people can misconstrue us. And so that's why I said today was your day. And I recognize that passion and that fireness. Okay. So people may think, oh, I was trying to help Kevin yesterday, but Kevin's a different type of person. So when I talk to him, I talk to him differently. But when I talk to you, I know who I'm talking to. And so that's all I was trying to say. And I know it's the 4th of July, and I know I can go long sometimes. So what I'm trying to do is make sure you look your very best today. And then I got to do Irene Green, Kim Colbert, and Ramona Kramer. But you and Kevin have come out firing away the way I knew you would. And I'm very happy that you came out. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, like I appreciate that. And it looks like people are saying talk about real issues all up and down the chat, which we're trying to do. But I
Right.
mean, I don't know
So
if
I
Richard
tell you
wants to
what.
get into some of these issues, but I have time if you
Right.
got
So
time.
check this out, Robert. We're at almost 133, and we started at 159 or 12:59. I want you to talk about an issue in this union that you feel is so vitally important, and then I'm gonna let you just expound on it.
There's
Pick,
so many of them,
pick,
so many of them.
pick one.
Well, I mean, infighting is the clear one, right? Having
Mm,
all these factions that
right.
we
Right.
have to get rid of the factions. But I would say that for me is upward mobility. I think that there are so many people who feel stuck in their job, right? Who feel that their pay's not going up fast enough to keep up with the economy, and so they're looking not only for more pay, that a good 21% pay increase, but they're also looking for ways to move up, right? Move up classifications and things like that. And I think it's most poignant to me when we look at our stewards. We have so many good stewards, all throughout the state, and we have many more coming, since you're, putting new ones on every day, from what I understand. And they're fantastic, but at the same times, when you talk to some of them, you'll see that some of them say, oh, as much as I've been fighting for this union, but I'm in the same classification I have been for
Mm,
25 years.
that's
And to me, it's like, if that's where you want to be, I support you, brother or sister, 100%. But when you talk to a lot of them, it's like, they really wish they would have moved up, in the last 25 years, or and they couldn't quite make the jump from OT to SSA, or they couldn't really quite get into management. And once they've been stuck at AGPA for 20 years. And for me, our union shouldn't be a place where we take good people and we lock them down and hold them for ourselves forever and always, right? Our union should be a place where we get people who who move up and to flourish, right? Who take that next step in their career, personally, professionally, right? Who, if they want to move into management, we said, please let us help you move into management, because Lord knows we need more union friendly managers throughout the state, right? So
Oh
we
boy.
shouldn't be holding these people back and saying, oh, we need you for our union. It's like, no, we should always be having new activists. Other activists should always be moving on to other unions. I think Javier Cardenas is one, right? That people bring up in relation to you a lot. He's moved up and now he's in a different union. And, it's like you got to be happy for people for taking that growth. And I think that we have a big part in making that happen. And not only that, is I think that when we have things in our contract like upward mobility, they should have teeth to them. How many people aren't able to access the upward mobility clause in Unit 20, right? Who are LVNs who are stuck and can't move into RN, because although we have contract language, all the state has to do and the department has to do is say, hey, we don't have a budget for that, this year or last year or ever. And so they're stuck, right? When you have people who are trying to be in upward mobility in Unit 4 and they're not getting it. So not only do we need the teeth to our contract, but why can't we be that mechanism? Why can't if every department is responsible for having an upward mobility program from Unit 4 to Unit 1, why can't the union host an upward mobility program? I've been saying this since 2014. Why isn't our LAPS, and it wasn't even LAPS back then, but why isn't our steward apprenticeship program actually a certified upward mobility program for the state? If you're a steward for 3 or 4 years, you can't tell me that if you do that job analyzing, reading, interpreting the contract over and over, fighting people's cases for year in and year out as a steward, that all of a sudden you don't qualify as an SSA or AGPA. That's BS. And so we need to bring all that upward mobility stuff, and create back to, and I know we don't have a closed shop union, so there's no way that we can say, hey, you can't get a state job unless you join the union, but we damn sure can make sure that we train our people well enough that people do get their promotions through the union, and therefore they're forever tied and loyal to us as their brothers and sisters for helping them get that, those jobs, and so in that upward mobility. And so I think that's probably one of the big issues for me, is making sure that we're training our people, that we're increasing their knowledge, skills, and abilities on a daily basis, because it's very easy. We have a volunteer union with hundreds of stewards, and it's very easy for the union to be a succubus that just takes everything they can get, takes your time, takes your energy, takes your money, right? Literally, because our DLC presidents have to, and DLC leadership have to give loans to our own union on a constant basis. When we try to set up Zoom calls in our DLC, and you say, hey, can you give our DLC a Zoom account? They say you have to pay for it, and then we'll reimburse you in 6 to 8 weeks. And so we're asking our stewards to take interest-free loans, to our own union. And so we got to stop all of that nonsense, right? And stop all of the taking from our people, and instead start giving to our people.
So one quick question, one quick point on that.
Go ahead.
No one has
Thank you for letting me talk, by the way.
Yeah, and from 125 to 137, you aced it. So no one has contacted me and said that they have to spend money out of their pocket to run their own Zoom, because I would have said that's wrong. That's wrong.
I've been saying it's wrong.
And you're right. So go ahead, continue on.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that if no one's told you about that part, but if at the last board meeting, I even had put forward a board resolution to change the policy file so that we could give some sort of liquid asset or liquid cash to our DLC presidents. Because right now it says that you get the $220 plus the 85 cents per member, but it's all on a reimbursable rate bait. So it's like if you want to buy pizza for a work site meeting, which that's a whole nother conversation you and I can have, the whole feeding people thing. But some DLC presidents want to do that, then they have to pay for it out of their pocket or go with someone who's on account. And so there's many situations where the DLC president's fronting money to the union, and we would never allow the state to make us front money to them, right? You give me in advance, pay for it in advance, rent me the car. And so I don't understand why our union does it time and time and time and time again. It's got to stop. We got to stop abusing our help like this.
Agreed.
Yeah, and
not gonna have no dispute with me. Yeah.
yeah, and so there's policy. If you look at the policy file amendments I fought for, they're for the members, right? And so I know that if we're talking about policy file amendments, let's talk about the another one that I submitted, which was to give all 4 statewide officers full-time union leave. As you remember, the board of directors, decided to butcher our policy file a few years ago, and so now it says that the president shall have full-time union leave, and the 3 VPs may have time given by the board of directors, as you know. And as you know, you can wave your wand and put these VPs off on assignment and do it your own way. But I tried to change the policy file, right? And so that we stop all of that. And so I suggest to you, even you have a board meeting coming up. I saw that you have a resolution that simply states, hey, you want the 3 VPs to have full-time union leave. And that's great. I hope that's what I said, the 3. That's great. And I hope that it passes.
Right.
But that doesn't fix the wrong.
That's
right. Because all that does is allow them to have the full-time union leave until the board decides that they no longer want them to have union leave. So if you truly want to fix the wrong, you actually need to go into the policy file section itself, and I can send it to you if you want. It's not too late. You can still do this on Wednesday, but actually change the policy file language to where it says all 4 statewide officers will have full-time union leave. And that's how you right the wrong of giving the will back to the voters.
Well, I would say to you, Robert, the union president will always have full-time union leave because this union is gigantic. Now, those 3 vice presidents should also have full-time union leave. And so, yeah, in a sense, you're right. We should right the wrong. I've been advised that I knew what I was going to do, and I'm being fought back. I'm battling people who don't want me to do what I want to do. I can guarantee you this: if you think for 1 minute I'm going to disrespect all those voters for Annika Walls and David Jimenez, think again. Think again. And I know what I said in those videos prior to me being elected. Reduction of dues on day 1, the vice presidents have full-time union leave, and I said a lot of stuff. Oh, I'm not stopping. I'm just trying to, let people know that I'm trying to work with people in an organized and professional manner, but I'm coming. And so yeah. I'm trying to work and have difficult conversations. And you're right. But first, let's see if the board has enough respect for the vice presidents to put them on full-time union leave. Let's just see. Let's just see first where their head is at. And I think you probably already know how this is going to turn out, if we even have a quorum to do a board meeting.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, well, we probably do know how it'll turn out, just because, like I said, I already tried to pass this before just a few months ago. But hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully it's a new day. But it's also an interesting strategy because in some sense you'll get to see who exactly on the board is voting yes and voting no, and that's going to be public, and so you get to expose some people for sure who might be trying to hide behind their vote. And so I think that's a good strategy, but you also have to realize that when you open a door, it's open for everyone. And so Robert's rules of order, the way the board meeting works, so your resolution that says, hey, give the 3 VPs full-time union leave, they could someone could say, hey, I want to amend that to say the 3 VPs and the 9 bunk chairs, and they could pass it, and that goes against what you want. Or they could amend it and say, hey, we want to give the president and the VPs 1 week of union leave each, and pass that. And all of a sudden you just open Pandora's box to get yourself less union time because you tried to
And
force them to
and
do.
I would and I would
And so it's just an interesting
right.
strategy to
But
choose. And it seems like a game. Sorry, let me finish the sentence.
but
In the most respectful way possible, it just feels like going about it that way is playing a game on, like, let's play chicken. Who's going to support me? Who's not? Let's have them expose themselves, as opposed to just getting shit done, which is what we thought you were going to do. And come in and handle it.
wait,
Get these people out on union
wait,
leave. You have the power to do it. Take them out.
but listen to what I
End of discussion.
no, but Robert Bayze, wait a minute. I told you I was advised. Let me say it for you more clearly. I was advised by
By who?
Local 1000 Council to not do that. Okay? Now,
But why?
let me finish. This is what I was told by council. Council did not volunteer the information about, oh, well, Yvonne put Aniko on an extra week of union leave for special projects. Council did not volunteer that information to me. Maybe they did not know. So I want to send you a clear-cut message. I have not, quote, changed at all. What I'm trying to do is work and be reasonable with people. Now, let's suppose you're right. Let's suppose that they do try to put me on 1 week of union leave. I can guarantee you this union will not survive like that. And even if you put me on 1 week of union leave, I can still work 2 jobs. Because what I would do is go back to the treasurer's office, do my daily job, and they'd be glad to have me back. And then I get done, and I come right back over there and continue work and running that organization from 4:30, 5 o'clock until 12 in the morning. Don't think I can't pull it off. It's in me. Because we talked about the salary stipend. See, I'm doing this as my divine destiny from God. So you don't have to pay me extra money. This is a volunteer position. Therefore, as this volunteer position, this labor of love that I'm providing for 3 years, I am dedicated around the clock. Therefore, I simply say, let God direct me in the path that I need to go in. And I knew if I talked to you long enough, you would bring out the very best you have in you. But you're a lion. And when you show up, but you're dealing with another lion. And so we're not going to be arguing on Independence Day because we are Local 1000 in this great country called America. And even though my ancestors came over here on a situation, and therefore I am not an immigrant, I'm a descendant of US slavery, that's okay. Don't stop believing. We keep going forward. I sincerely hope you do your very best to win this election. And I told Kevin this yesterday, and I told Irene Green, you won the election, Irene. There should be no re-election. They should have caught that stuff, those 2 job stewards who were not qualified. They should have caught that shat at that time period. So she's being penalized. So everybody is a little, quote, upset. And this is why I asked Kevin yesterday, and I asked you now at 1:46, with all the candidates running for VP of bargaining, if you feel like the process is a sham, you don't trust this voting process, you don't trust the fact that a lot of these addresses are bad, if you don't trust the elections committee that I cannot reappoint because I'm being told I'm being pushed back on that, and I want you to hear this. If y'all all come together and write out your list and say, let's go down there and meet the vendors together and let's figure out this out together, Richard, because we don't like whoever wins this, the others will be dissatisfied, and we need to throw this out and start completely over again, then I'll fall back and I'll do like you guys as a team asked me to do. Remember what I'm saying? I'm getting pushback. And you're saying, Richard, you are the president. You can make things happen. You're right. But I'm trying to show that I can work with difficult people in a short time period. I just got started. I'm trying to show people that. But if you push me into a wall and say, do what you got to do to make things happen, then don't criticize me when I make things happen. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, no, I think that when it comes to the elections thing specifically, I was trying I'm not upset that the results went the way they did, or no, as Kevin said, no hard feelings to Irene or anything like that. But at the same time, we were yelling and screaming and trying to put a protest in well before the ballots came out, because they said that they weren't going to announce who the candidates were until the ballots hit your mailbox. And we said, no, you can't do that because there's going to be people on there on the ballot who don't belong. And so it was very clear that there was going to be people on there who weren't qualified the whole time. And we tried to do a protest, and they said you can't do a protest until after the election. And so that is something I would say that should be fixed, is that you should be able to protest the election while it's happening. So if I saw something bad happening right now, right, if someone saw, someone sneaking into, our third party vendor with a bunch of envelopes or burning boxes or something, not saying that any of that would happen, but if it was happening, someone should be able to wave a protest right now and say, whoa, whoa, whoa. And instead our organization says, oh, wait until August, and we'll deal with it on August 6th. And it's like, to me, that's too late. And so
Right.
yeah,
Right.
we could have stopped all of this, taken those two people off the list, and we might have had Irene Green win by more.
Mm-hmm.
She might have lost to Kevin, she
We,
might have lost to me, and
right.
we don't know. And so it's it's unfortunate for all parties involved that it happened that way. And so we can do better.
So and I asked Kevin yesterday, maybe Kevin will reach out to you and the other candidates. If you feel, because remember, that's part of my platform about have a transparent voting process. If you feel, not what you think, I'm going by how you feel. Because if you're feeling that this election is a sham, then how many other voters feel it's a sham and they won't waste their time voting? And therefore, we're affecting, quote, voters. And to me, that's voter suppression when they feel it's a sham and they won't vote. And so if all the candidates, you come to me unified and you tell me, we want to start this completely over again, and we want it completely transparent, and we want to know everything on everything, you're going to back me into the corner, and I won't be able to back out because you're going to make me verify my platform. And anybody who backs me into the corner to make me verify my platform, oh, please, they're my best friend. They're my best friend. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's up to you.
So, well,
it's up to the candidates running for VP of bargaining. If all you come together unified, and you've already said it, our union is split 3 different ways. And so I'm begging people. I'm trying to work with staff. I'm letting staff go home early. I'm begging them. Now I'm begging you. I'm trying to talk to Kevin Manager, and Kevin Manager and I have a past. We don't get along. We don't. But for the sake of the union, we try to act like we had some sense yesterday. Okay? For the sake of the union. That's what we tried to do publicly. Put our differences aside and have a professional conversation. I wanted a debate, but I know some people feel like a debate is too controversial, too intimidating. Now I know you're ready for a debate. That's probably why they don't want to debate. So, I'm trying to work with people. And I sent you guys that text yesterday. Send me your bios and your pictures. And I went it up on the website. Now, staff is off on the weekend. I'm gonna try to get it up there by Tuesday. I want your bios and pictures up there. That'd be the first time Local 1000 ever showed candidates running for office and their bios and pictures. That's how it should be. Someone said that to me and I said, oh, I missed it. I slipped. I'm sorry. That's what I'm trying to do. And that's why
that would be maybe the first time that we ever listed it, candidate bios, but that doesn't mean that that the union updates aren't plastered with certain people running throughout the year. That doesn't mean that we didn't run a multi-million-dollar CalPERS election to get Teresa Taylor elected just so we could make her VP right after. So I mean, I wouldn't say it's the first time that someone's put candidates' faces out in the public for everyone, but I hear what you're saying.
But what I would say is, when we have elections in our union, they
should be fair.
That's yes, just that quick, yes. And so these are the battles that I'm going through, but I'm not done. And as much as you're a fighter, you know a fighter when you see one, and I'm the same way. So I want you to keep fighting, and you fight and you campaign your ass off. You do what you got to do. And I would tell Kevin Manager and Irene Green and Kim Colbert and Ramona Kramer the same thing. Come out swinging and do what you got to do.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I would say that I would say the same to you, that you're trying to build a team of people who you think you can work with, and who I think more importantly aren't going to undermine you, because the three VPs can get together
Right.
and suspend you.
That's right.
And so if you think that who you think you can work with, you should campaign like hell for them and build your team, because that's what a head coach does, right? Is you find your assistants and you hire them on so that you can build the best team that you can. You don't tell the organization, hey, find me some assistants, hope
Right.
they're good,
Right.
right? So
But
right now you're telling the voters, hey, find some,
well,
put me whoever, I don't care. And so the same as I'm going to fight like hell, you should fight like hell to get in the right person for you that's going to help you succeed.
so Robert, here's the funny thing, because Kevin didn't say that to me yesterday, but you are. Here's what I would tell any candidate running for VP of bargaining: whoever goes on Facebook, no matter what you've said in the past, throw it out. Whoever goes on Facebook and says they fully support my 10-point platform and they got my back and they will never ever work with the other two to, quote, suspend me, then do an HR1 and let the board decide if I stick around or not. Whoever does that, and who does it first? Oh, trust me.
I'll tell you right now that I have zero plans or intentions to work with the other two to suspend you at anything for at this moment. And the only reason I have to say at this moment is again, hold on. If all of a sudden, I see you walking out of the union hall with bundles of money in your pocket, it's going to be a different scenario. But in terms of right now, from the way you've been acting, what I have seen and know about you so far, what all the videos, no, there's no reason, because the voters voted for you, 25, 26, however many hundred people. I thought you were going to win with 28. So I've been saying the last 8 months, I've been telling everyone you were going to win with 2,800 votes, but you didn't quite get the 2,800, but you won. And so why would I team up with the two other vice presidents to disrespect all those voters, right? I wouldn't. And I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't. But like I said, I always have to keep. You never know who someone might be. I think the Yvonne Walker of 1998 is different than the Yvonne Walker of 2021. And so I don't think that you're going to do anything crazy, but that door will be open, because first and foremost, I'll protect the members. And so if that's what the members need, if we gotta stop some sort of BS going on because someone's stealing, robbing us blind, then I'm gonna have to take action. But as Richard Lewis Brown stands right now, and you trying to change the union,
That
I will not team up with two other VPs and suspend you. That's not
so
my
here
day one.
so,
My day one activity,
and so
which
here's
only leads to 10-point plan, right?
right.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Here's what I would say that quickly. I'm a man on a divine destiny from God. And what I'm asking people to do is walk in faith. And when you put things in writing for me, you put that in writing that you will not remove me, not this moment in time, because things change. But I'm coming from a higher place. But unfortunately, I have to have legal documents. I need something in writing so everyone can hold everyone accountable. So what you say sounds great for this moment, for this moment. But if you really want to send a message, you say, I back up Richard because I back up his faith in God. And therefore, I don't have to worry about him doing anything wrong. He's going to do the right thing and he's going to get these people paid. And this 10-point platform is his 10 commandments, his contract with the people that he will not budge on at all. And it's just that simple. But I understand what you have to do, because you have voters who expect you to do certain things. You have to maintain your base and then bring in more votes, because was it 800? Was it 800 votes between those two candidates? I can't remember the number. Is it 800, Robert?
So it's almost nine,
Nine,
somewhere around there,
so
about 900.
almost 900 votes are at play, possibly.
Possible.
Yeah. So we're not quite for sure, but more people may actually get the ballot this time and decide, because my name's in the public arena, and they may say, you know what, we're going to vote this time. So we're not quite for sure how this is going to work out. But what I simply say is, I need people that I know have my back. And right now, I don't know really if the VPs have my back. That's the truth. That's the truth. And they say that they do.
Yeah. But you
know,
go ahead.
But people tell me a lot of things. Every day I hear somebody tell me something. I did this wrong. I didn't talk right. I'm not getting enough rest. You look tired. If I don't talk excited, if I'm not up tempo, then they think something's wrong with Richard. But I can have an everyday conversation with people. But it took us from the first 15 to 20 minutes, it wasn't to the 125 mark where you were able to let go and then you were firing. But I know that style. I know it very well. And you've been firing from that point on, you've been on fire. But I had to get you to that point because people thought, oh, they're into it. We're just going to cut them off and we're just going to end the conversation. But I said, no, because I know who I'm talking to. What I'm simply saying is, when I know someone has my back and they're not on Facebook giving out answers that are open-ended, but they're very direct and to the point, then I know they're with me. That's what I know. And that's the gift from God on my ability to read people. That's just a gift from God that I have. And I know you're right about what I should have done when I came to the union. But you're giving me a break. You're giving me a break, and I appreciate that. Because I have a good feeling that you and I are probably on the same page on a lot of different issues. And that's why I said today's your day. Today's your day.
I mean, there's a lot that we can get done, and I think that it's, like I said, the 10-point platform is something that you probably want me to say yes or no, I support. But to me, that's exactly what, and this isn't no offense, but that's exactly what Yvonne did, right? That's exactly what a lot of bad leaders do, is say you have to buy into everything I'm saying, period, end of story. And I've asked you, okay, well, what if I agreed with 9 points, but 1 point I thought we could make a tweak and make it even better? And you're like, oh, well, then I would have to say, no, I don't really quite agree with your 10-point platform, because I think point number 8 could be tweaked and we could make it even better. And so that's why it's hard to say yes or no, because as it stands, I have a couple questions, and I tried to ask you these on your live before, and we don't have to go through them today if you don't want. It can be another time. But when it comes to things like the strike fund, right? It's like, okay, cool. Right. We can't, we're a gun with no bullets if we don't have a strike fund, right? The threat of a strike has to be there. It has to be. That's a fundamental, you don't have a union, right? That's a fundamental principle of a union.
Agreed.
The other thing though, The other thing, though, too, right, is I'm like, okay, so right now we make $50 million a year. About $52 million a year is our income, right? It's going down, and maybe it'll go back up since you're, elected. But as it's been trending down, it's somewhere in those 50s, right? Half of that, as you say, goes to politics. And so I think that's what you were saying, right? About 50% goes to politics. And that's why you want to reduce dues by 50%.
That's right.
But then that only leaves us with like 25 to 27 million left over. But we need more staff, right? Because we're the bargaining chairs, their work that they're stealing from the staff, as you've been saying, or like, taking from the staff. So we're going to need to make some tweaks. And so then when I look at, okay, we have operations, and not only do we have operations that we need to maintain, more importantly, we need better operations, right? Because the only way that if we spent 25 to 27 million on operations before, the only way that we get better is if, we will obviously make some efficiency changes, but also if we spend a little more. And so when I look at the strike fund, I go, okay, by the time we pay for everything we pay for all our staffs, we guarantee them this retirement health care, year number 1, which I agree with you, right? And the hypocrisy. By the time we do all these things, how much is left for a strike fund? And so so it's like, or how do we get that? How do we raise that money? What is the other mechanism for doing it? So that's just a question I would have before I could say.
I'm glad you brought that up at this point of the conversation, because I don't know how many people are still left. Number 1, we're going to increase the membership. Now, if you become the VP of bargaining and then the CFO, you're going to come back and tell me, Richard, we have these many non-members out of these bargaining units. And we definitely need those people in bargaining unit 1 because they make money. We're going to drive this revenue up and up and up. And therefore, we'll be able to make up for reducing the dues by driving up membership. And that's why I kept saying, 97% is my target, but I'll settle. Listen to how I said this. I'll settle for 90% dues paying members. So when I say it like that, and these people get on here on Facebook and they tell you I'm working with the Freedom Foundation, Right to Work, but I'm telling you, I'm trying to drive up the membership to over 90%. 97% is my goal, so we can create that money for that strike fund. And we're reorganizing the union. Now, this is what they're telling me now, Robert. I'm being told they're going to the chief of staff down at Snodgrass is reorganizing the union. She thinks she can do it and not really have to hire too many more people and make it run way better, more efficiently, and give people quality job representation. Now, that's what they're telling me, Robert. Have I had time to sit down with her and look through all this they're doing? Not yet. But they're working around the clock to get it done. And so when you see me, quote, begging people to come back to the union, making people job stewards, I'm trying to create that energy and that excitement. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
Please.
And so when it comes to that, right, if we want to get into the nuances of the 10-point plan, it's, for me, strike fund, yes. Cool. I want it to be big, right? We got to get there in a reasonable amount of time, right? So putting $4 or $5 million a year is going to do us no good, right? Because by the time we get to 40, 50 or 400 million, 500, however much we need, I'd be interested to know what your target is, by the way. But we need to build it fast, right? And so, but I think that people are upset about the whole politics thing, right? And all the money that gets spent in other locations. And so what I can support, right, is us taking and stop spending as much money on non-germane activities as we do, right? And instead using that 50%, instead of a 50% reduction, that 50% goes to the strike fund. So the first half of your dues, the 0.75 pays for operations and all that. And then you can opt into the other 0.75 to help for the strike fund.
Great. So
in which case, I'm just saying, in which case, so I know that will work. Your plan might also work. I would just need to see more details on the funding before I could say for sure. But what I can say for sure is that we can redirect a lot of our money to a strike fund, right? And we can stop spending a ton of money on politics. Now, whether or not we can build a massive strike fund and reduce 50% at the same time, I can't say yes, because I'd be a liar if I said yes. But I will tell you that it's possible. I would just need more information.
And what I would say to that is this: your argument is sound. Your arguments are always sound. That's not the problem. People are hurting in our union. They need their money. They need those dues reduced because they're living paycheck to paycheck. That's our first problem, because we've never gotten a substantial pay increase because we've never had a strike fund, because we've been relying on politicians, the same politicians who took our money for 2 days for a whole fiscal year, but they protected and prioritized their families. But the key is, how many people can I drive back to the union one way or another? That's the key. All these non-members.
I think you can drive all of them back.
Well, we're going to find out, like you said, we're going to find out.
I mean, it's possible. Anything's possible.
That's right. Anything is possible, and all things are possible if you put your belief in God. And I feel strongly in this, and this is why I keep telling people, they keep laughing at me. When I tell you I'm on a divine path, and that I had the dream from God that told me last summer, you will be the president. I woke up and I said, are you serious? But I have dreams from God. And what I'm telling you is, this divine destiny that I'm on, somebody's going to recognize it. And over a period of time, through the power of prayer, from people who worship God in different names, I'm going to be just fine. Whether I'm the local 1000 president or whether they remove me and send me back to the state treasurer's office, I am at peace with my life, and I'm at peace with God. And so you don't have to worry about me doing something to hurt people. I'm just not going to do that. And I saw all the people who were praying for me, because to be honest with you, Robert, there were people voting for me and knowing in their heart I would never win. And then when I did win, they said, she'll never swear you in. And then after I got sworn in, they said, you'll be lucky to make you'll be lucky to make 6 months. But I've gone through and I've proven all the doubters wrong. I have to still make it to 6 months. And that's a big question mark. But my faith is in God through Jesus Christ. So everything is not always in the numbers. You can make numbers happen, but you have to motivate and inspire people to come back. And numbers cannot be the key to that. They got to know that in your heart, you love them, that you love them and you care for them. Like I'm loving and caring for the people in Lassen County. They got to feel that passion. And
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, what I do, other people can't copy this because you don't have that gift, that blessing from God. This is a blessing that I have. And this is why these people are so mad. And I'll end it with this, Robert. If my 10-point platform wasn't so controversial, if they knew they could break me, make me break, then they wouldn't have rushed out to help Gavin. They wouldn't be doing all these things right now if they thought that I was just talking to get elected and then I would do something different. I would change. They know I'm a man of sincerity. I'm done.
Right. And so just to circle back on that, my main point is I think from the people I talk to, I think that people are okay with paying, the union dues where they're at. They just want them spent better. They just want their dues to be used correctly. And so it's not about taking away the weapons from the union. When you think about it, our union dues are 1.5%. The OPEB CBER, right, our retiree healthcare is 3.5%. So if you get that eliminated, right, you've just two and a half.
Yeah.
You just paid or union dues for everyone 2.5 times over, right?
That's the way.
And so I think that if people say, hey, you saved us 3.5% here, they'd be happy to keep paying their 1.5% in union dues. Not only that, remember what I've told you on our very first conversation on Facebook Live. We will sit here and listen to all these professionals, right? Of which, financial professionals, of which, I'm trying to be one as well, which is hilarious, right? Because we have state jobs, we all do things, right? But these financial professionals will tell you, oh, go ahead and put, invest in your retirement. So right now we pay 8.5% of our check to our retirement account. And then they'll tell you, hey, go ahead and open a Savings Plus account because you're going to make sure you want that same style quality of living. And that's something that's important to talk about, right? Is that in order for us to maintain our quality of living in retirement, we have to not only have our retirement account, but we also need a Savings Plus account, right? For the supplemental income. And they'll tell you, oh, you should be putting 10 to 15% of your income away in your Savings Plus account, right? Because you want to make sure you have that same quality of life. And so all these people, you have the 8.5% that we agree to as the union. You have the 3.5% in the OPEB. We have the 10 to 15% that these financial professionals tell you to invest on your own, right? But then we want to tell people that it's too expensive to pay 1.5% for a union that's going to fight like hell for you. Like, to me, that's not where it's at, right? 1.5% is plenty a reasonable value if your union spends it correctly, and if your union has your back at the work site, and if your union gets kick-ass contracts like it's supposed to. And so I know if you plan on doing all of those things, which you are, then that 1.5% isn't too much to be asking people to spend on their union. And if some people can't afford it, but they still want to be a union member, we can have a program, to allow people to have waivers and stuff like that. But I don't think that people are upset that they're going to have to pay 1.5% when they get a 21% increase, when they get OPEB eliminated. It's an investment. It's not an expense. It's an investment.
And you know what? Again, coming from business school, you know that you're right, coming from business school, but they don't teach the union perspective, labor issues in business school. That's taught from the shareholder. That's taught from the management perspective. And you and I both know this. So what I would simply say is, if you really want to help people, reduce the amount of money that they've been paying to a union that has not served them that has never served them. So if you want to send a message that, quote, things are changing, reduce that money. And that's especially for the people who live paycheck to paycheck, because we've never done a survey where people were honest enough to say, oh, Richard, I've been living paycheck to paycheck for all these years, and these last year, and I lost 2 days of pay, I've been homeless, sleeping in my car, because no one wants to admit that. And they're working for the state of California and they're represented by a union. That's embarrassing. And so what you say financially is correct, but I'm coming from the other side where I'm saying, how much love do I have in my heart? What am I willing to do to make sure these people know right away things are going to be way different, and that I'm not, quote, a politician? And that's why I give direct and straightforward answers, because politicians are experts like lawyers, and I'm dealing with them at the union. They just say things and they move around, and 1 minute the sky's gray, next minute the sky's blue. They don't give straight answers. And I give straight, direct answers. And that's why a lot of people don't really care for me, because I don't allow you to wiggle in and out. And so when I was starting with the conversation with you, I wanted your answers in 2 minutes or less. And then I said, once we're done, whoever has the patience to put up with you and me, now we can have a real conversation. And that's what we're doing. So when you were asking about, hey, I can go an hour and a half, 2 hours. Oh, you can go 4 or 5. You're one of the few people that can go with me step for step. And so we're at 2 minutes, 2 hour, 1 minute, 1 hour and 14 minutes. I think we've aced this. And I think you've come out of this looking like a champion. I really believe that. Now, Kevin Manager is probably going to call me and say, hey, you didn't give me that same love that you gave Robert Bayze. So what probably will happen is I'll have to do this all over again with both of you at the same time, probably on Zoom. And hopefully Irene Green, Kim Colbert, and Ramona Kramer will also join us, because that's probably what will happen. And I'm sorry that this is happening so late, because I thought I was going to, when I got over there on June 30th, but I didn't know until about 10 o'clock that she was gone, so I was scrambling, trying to get everything together. So, okay.
Yeah, so it's only, you want to do that quickly if you're planning on inviting people, just because ballots are already out.
I know.
People are already making decisions. So
Yeah.
us getting together and having a debate towards the end is really just going to be more performative than anything. So
No,
if you want to choose, I'm just saying, if you really want to have an influence on who you're going to be working with and who your teammate is, as you're putting it, definitely move quick. And whoever that is, I know you've said some nice things about everyone, it seems like. So
fair.
Definitely,
I'm trying to be fair. I don't want to if I give you all the love, and then someone else will say, oh, well, the president gave so and so all the love, and that's why I didn't win, and so they'll do a protest on that. So what I'm saying is I'm speaking on Sunday, and you got me on the 4th of July, and I told you, I said,
you got me on the 4th of July.
I said, this is your day. I kept telling you this, and I didn't make this up. This is your day. So, and I'll end it with this, Robert. If all the candidates for this VP of bargaining election, if y'all come together and come at me and say, stop the election, we ain't going for it, then you'll force me to stop it. And then we'll start all over, and we'll have the type of election where every person every person that pays money to the union will be able to get that ballot, because I will act a fool to ensure that everybody knows you're voting whether you want to or not, period. Now get up off your butt, stop complaining, vote for one of these candidates, and we'll get the job done. We'll stop here.
You should do that right. You should do that right now, though. You don't have to wait for a letter. You can encourage everyone right now.
Robert, I'm asking you and the other candidates to come together. I can't do everything, Robert. And if I did that, then I'd be a bully. So I'm asking you and the others, can y'all find peace among each other? I'm begging you. Talk to Kevin. Kevin will talk to you. He'll
Oh yeah, I know.
Talk to Kevin. Reach out to Irene. I don't know who Ramona Kramer is. I tried to reach out to her. I can't find her. And reach out to Kim Colbert. When y'all have unity, then it makes my job so much easier. Okay. We've had a great conversation on the 4th of July. Robert Bayze came in kicking like a lion. And I'm really excited that he came on. And somehow, some way, through the grace of God, Local 1000, we will make it. Will we have some bumps in the road? We already know. Let's just be truthful. There's going to be some car crashes. But outside of that, this is going to be a great 4th of July for everyone. Robert, I'm going to say thank you. You have any last words, Robert?
No, thank you for having me. You know, obviously, hopefully, people stuck with us. We did get off to a contentious start, but that's, you know, I think it just shows that, you know, doesn't mean that we can't work together. It just means that we both have conviction.
Yep.
And we're both coming, you know, from a place that's deep inside of us. And so when that happens, things happen. But I think at the end of the day, you know, I can come together with anyone that has my brothers and sisters in this union in their heart and in their soul and their best interest. I can work with that person. And happy 4th to everyone. Other than that,
Robert had the last word. July 4th, 2021. We're out of here. Bye-bye.